Welcome back to my channel. I'm James. Today we've got a massive video with numerous huge reviews that I'm going to be deep diving into. Avatar on 4K Ultra HD, Upgrade on 4K Ultra HD, the brand new Waterworld 4K Ultra HD limited edition set from Arrow Video, the 25th anniversary 4K Ultra HD release of The Truman Show, and the upcoming 4K scan on Blu Ray of The Bounty, the Mel Gibson, Anthony Hopkins epic kind of action adventure film. So we've got a ton of these to dive in and cover today. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing my exclusive 4K versus the original Blu-ray releases image comparisons. That's where I take the native data off of each of the discs, compare them side by side up above, and show you the differences between each and every one of these and what the comparison is and what the upgrade is, if there is one, and if these are worth buying or adding to your collection. And in these exclusive videos I create, these really are the comprehensive guide for showing you what these actually look like in comparison to the previous Blu-ray editions. And in the case of Waterworld, I'm going to be doing my exclusive 4K versus 4K image comparisons. That's going to show you the difference between the universal original 4K release and this brand new 4K Ultra HD release from Arrow Video in this limited edition box set. Again, this is exclusive content that you're only ever going to find to watch here on my YouTube channel. So you never want to miss out on any of this, so make sure to go down there, give this video a like and a thumbs up for me, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Now, for each of these that I'm reviewing in this video, as always, I've posted all of the direct links from Amazon in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section right below this video. So if you decide you want to buy or add any of these to your collection after you get done watching this video, make sure to go down to the description section or the pinned comment in the comment section below and click on those links right down there below. It's on sale for the same prices everywhere, and those links down there never cost you, the viewer, even a penny extra. But they do help to support the creation of exclusive videos just like this, just a tiny bit. So make sure if you decide you're going to buy any of these or add any of these to your collection, to click on those links I've posted down below. Now to start off with, I'm going to show you the native images pulled from this Blu-ray release up above. These are always the unfiltered and unchanged native images that come directly from these discs. Now, when this was originally released, it was an original 2K DI. And that limited the amount of depth and detail that existed in the image just based on what they finished it at, how he finished the special effects, and everything that was done to complete the film originally. Now, for this new 4K, it's an upscaled 4K technically. And I'll explain what I mean. Basically, this was created from a new 4K DI that they took from the 2K DI and upscaled it and upsampled it to make it into a 4K DI. So it's not technically a native 4K technically, because it's taking that original 2K and then upscaling and upsampling to make it look the best it can from a 2K source, but it does not have as much depth and detail as a native 4K, and that's present from the opening shots all the way until the end. So it's technically a remastered, upscaled, upsampled 4K. So that's why I said it's a little bit more of a difficult explanation for how this 4K came about. But you can notice right away from the opening shots with all of the human actors that are in it, it does have some issues on it. It is not like all of these glowing reviews have given. They're missing out or just simply ignoring a lot of the issues that aren't present on the image, especially mostly noticeable with a lot of the live action scenes where it actually has the live action actors in it, not the CGI scenes. You'll notice it mostly present even more so throughout any of the scenes that the live action actors are in, but it gives them an odd halo around them where if you pay attention and you actually have a professionally calibrated high-end 4K display and you actually look at the image, you show it side by side and even pay attention, you can see there's a haloed effect around all of the actors. It causes like a double skin effect almost, and a lot of people call it haloing. I call it like a double skin, where like around their faces, it looks like, yeah, you can see their face, but then there's like a second layer of almost see-through skin layer around them. That is from the remastering and the upscaling and all of that was done on this, exasperating what was present on the previous 2K DI that existed. It has caused some more issues to appear in the image. Now, I will say the CGI scenes, they look really good and are a nice improvement on this 4K over the previous Blu-ray release, But all of the scenes that have human actors in them that are not just fully CGI'd, the scenes where it has all of the actual actors themselves, does look not that great. It is one of those things that honestly, when I started watching it, I was kind of thinking to myself, man, I've heard some amazing things, people saying these are reference quality, best release of the year. That is 100% wrong. I don't know what those people are watching. I don't know what those people are seeing. It is not reference quality, image quality. It's good, but it is not reference quality. And I will tell you, I did enjoy this, and I did enjoy Avatar, and I do think it's an upgrade. Don't get me wrong in thinking that I'm not saying this is an upgrade. It is an upgrade over the Blu-ray. It's just not quite what it's being made out to, that a lot of native 4Ks that I've reviewed, tested, and analyzed here on this YouTube channel, you get a massive uptick in detail and depth to the image that you can see drastically when they do brand new 4K scans and 4K restorations for native 4K releases. This one, yes, they did a lot of work. The CGI does look better. I like the new color grading a lot better. The colors have way more varying shades of the different blues and the different greens, and I do think that shines through great on this with the HDR10. But that does not mean that I can ignore and disregard all of the other issues I encountered and noticed throughout this 4K release. And if you've watched this or you own this already, I know my review's coming out a little bit later than everyone else's because of how long these take me to test and analyze and do all of the work to pull all the data off of these. This one just took me a while longer to get done. And I will tell you though, when I was going through this, sitting there side by side, yes, this is an upgrade over the previous Blu-ray. But there's so many things on this that I was just slightly disappointed in, and I had to share that with all of you. As all of you know, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you as always. This one just is not as amazing as it's being made out to be. It is enjoyable, and yes, it's an upgrade. But all of the scenes with the human actors, the live action human actors, not the ones that are CGI, it's very distracting and sometimes ugly looking. The actual haloing and double skin effect it gives around them, where actually it loses some detail over the Blu-ray in some random scenes, where I noticed that that double skin effect would actually blur the details on their faces and their outfits to where they kind of look like they were just kind of like almost like a video game-ish effect where you have like blur in a video game when it's moving too fast across the screen. You have those issues in the live action scenes. And to be honest with you, I was disappointed with how those looked. I expected there to be a whole lot more detail, especially everything I'd heard saying, oh, it's amazing. And before I'd gotten all my testing and everything done, I thought to myself, maybe it is one of these things that's absolutely amazing. It's just, honestly, those scenes look really bad. And I gotta say, they were a disappointment because the CGI scenes looked really good on this. Now, talking about the audio on this, it does get an English Dolby Atmos. I will tell you the English Dolby Atmos was a nice treat on this. It did use the height channels very well, it moved things around, it had very good LFE, but with the audio on this, I did have to turn it up 4 to 5 notches louder than I normally do because the audio mix on this was slightly lower than what I usually listen to things at. So that was one thing where I did have to turn it up quite a bit more than I normally do. So that was slightly a one nitpick as well on the audio mix, but the Atmos mix was enjoyable overall anyways. Now, talking about the rough average bitrate, this is one area that I was a little surprised about. This is on a BD100. For the first time from Disney, they released a 4K Ultra HD disc on a BD100 for one of their releases. I was very happy about that. But there were still some limitations with how they put this onto the 4K. For example, your rough average bitrate on this was only 58 megabits per second roughly. So it wasn't amazing, like knock it out of the park. Like I was expecting this to be around the 80s, the 90s for its rough average bitrate. And I was slightly disappointed with all that I expected from this and all that I had heard about, that it really wasn't as amazing as basically it had been built up to be. Which is why most of the time I don't pay attention to any of the stuff that's talked about releases until I get to dive into and test and analyze things, because I don't like to go into it with a preconceived idea, which I did on this one. Wish I hadn't looked up or known any of the other thoughts about it, because then I probably wouldn't have been as disappointed in some of those areas, like with the bitrate, because the bitrate on this was just okay. It just wasn't amazing, knock your socks off, blow it out of the water. 58 megabits per second, it's okay. Some other things I was slightly disappointed on the 4K release, which I talked about previously in comparison to the extended version here I have on Blu-ray, was the fact of that they did not include all the different cuts in this 4K. Now I understand that basically James Cameron determines what gets put on these and what doesn't. I understand some of the extended cuts, maybe he's walked back a little more over the years, maybe he only likes certain versions of them. I don't know the whole reasoning and I'm not him, so I can't say word for word, hey, he wanted this or didn't want this. All I know is they did not include all the extended cuts that were on this that I did enjoy on the extended version. They're just not on here. We get the one cut on here and that's it. So that was a slight disappointment as well, especially because Disney likes to label things Ultimate Collector's Edition. No offense, but this is not the Ultimate Collector's Edition unless it includes all of the previous cuts on 4K as well, including all the special features, which it does not include all the special features from the previous release either. So again, calling it Ultimate Collector's Edition, they should have dropped off the Ultimate and just said Collector's Edition, because truly, it's not the Ultimate version. I mean, it's missing a lot of things that would have made this the Ultimate Collector's Edition, and that's kind of my gripe with how they labeled it. Now, am I happy they released this on 4K finally? Yes, and that's where it's hard. I feel like I'm making concessions because it's kind of like a breath of, oh, finally I got a breath of fresh air because they finally announced and finally released it on 4K. But they really left a lot of things out of this, and I really felt like some of the things were not as great on it and weren't as good a job, like the special features, the missing cuts of the film, obviously the haloing effect, things like that, just made this not seem as amazing as I was really hoping it was going to be. Now, getting to my review score. For Avatar on 4K Ultra HD, this gets a good 8.3. It's an upgrade, it's enjoyable. No, it is not reference quality. No, it is not top 10 of the year releases. I've seen a ton of junk like that is really just, I don't understand what they're watching. They must not have a good home theater setup that they can accurately see things from, because watching this on any of my 4K displays, it just is not reference quality. It's a good upscale, but it is image, sound quality wise, it gets an 8.3 for this 4K Ultra HD release. It's good. If you own the previous Blu-ray release, you're gonna wanna hold on to that for all the special features and all the different cuts of the film. You'll enjoy watching this for the one cut of the film they did give us on this, but you'll have to keep that other one for all the special features and all of the cuts. Audio on this was the best part of this. I really enjoyed the Atmos as the best part of this. But visual quality wise, I thought some of the things actually exasperated and actually made the image not look as good, because of those bad haloing effect that just really made all of the human actors have a very garish appearance behind them that really just was offsetting and kind of unsettling as you're watching the film. I couldn't ever get used to that bad like Halo 3D skin effect that it gave all of them, and really just made it look very, very unnatural. Though the CGI scenes looked amazing on this compared to the previous Blu-ray, because the remaster they did for the complete CGI scenes looked good. But again, I guess you give and take, because it made the human actors look worse in the human scenes versus the CGI scenes looked better. So that's where I said it's a mixed bag. It is not a perfect release. It is not absolutely amazing reference quality in any shape or form. It's an 8.3. Now you know the actual quality of what this is, and if it's something you should buy and add to your collection is up to you. It's just you have to understand you're taking all of those other limitations along with this set. So let me know if this is one that you're excited to buy and add to your collection now, if you've already gotten it yet. Let me know if you've experienced it and seen all those issues, just like I was explaining about the haloing. Were you okay with that? Did you just not notice it because you're sitting too far away from your TV? Make sure to start that conversation in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts are after hearing my review and in-depth analysis on this. Make sure to start that conversation down there below. If you're gonna buy Avatar on 4K now, make sure to use those links I posted from Amazon in the comment section and in the description section below. I've pinned all those links down there below for you. Never cost you a penny extra, but those links do help support the creation of these exclusive videos. So make sure to use those links I've pinned down below. Next up, we have Upgrade. This is the 2018 kind of sci-fi horror with a slight mystery behind it, kind of like action movie. It's really hard to put into one category. There's a lot of things going on in this film that kind of mishmash a bunch of different genres together. I enjoy the film, though I will tell you it's extremely violent. It has a lot of language, blood, and gore. Though to me, it kind of blends to the whole action, sci-fi element of it mixed with horror. That really is one of those films a lot of people missed out on experiencing. And it's one of those films I enjoy the film itself, and it does make you think. Now, this new 4K release from Scream and Shout Factory is an upscaled 4K. So it's taken from its 2K Di, and they did a brand new 4K master that they created from the original 2K Di. Now, as far as the image goes on this, I will tell you there is a slight downside on this versus the previous Blu-ray release, as you're probably noticing those images above. This 4K does have some slight black crush in it. Now, the film itself has numerous scenes that were intentionally filmed darker, but that is slightly exasperated in this. Now, it does have brilliant white because the HDR10 and Dolby Vision do look really good on this compared to the previous Blu-ray. But the downside is on this 4K, some of those darker scenes do have black crush that you can see slightly more in the Blu-ray than you could on the 4K. Other than that, the image itself is much more detailed. There is much more depth in this image. The colors, as I was saying, with the Dolby Vision and the HDR10, there's so much more range because of the wider color gamut that make this look quite a bit better in most of the scenes than the previous Blu-ray. There's just a few of those scenes that the Blu-ray didn't have as much black crush as this does. So that's where I said that's the one negative nitpick on this, is that I wish those few scenes that did have black crush on this didn't have it at all, because then it would have been an easy 100% everything's better than the previous Blu-ray release. But as always, I'm going to share those little things with all of you so that you're aware of them. As far as audio wise, this does have English DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 and 2.0. In comparison to the previous Blu-ray release, this does have a little bit better range, slightly better clarity, and it did have a bit more LFE. So in that case, it was a little bit better of an audio mix and audio sound than the previous Blu-ray release. But it's not something that's going to be a massive change like going from a DTS HD to a Dolby Atmos. This doesn't have Dolby Atmos in it, and it's just a slight upgrade overall in audio. Now, showing you what you get in this, there is no slip covers for this release. Has the artwork on it here for upgrade. It says upgrade on the side. On the back, it talks about it. It does have the new Blu-ray in here, is the brand new 4K master they made. That is on the Blu-ray as well as on the 4K. So you get two new discs in this. Though I will tell you, the Blu-ray disc is 100% Region A locked. Thankfully though, the 4K Ultra HD, unlike a bunch of recent releases that I've tested here on this YouTube channel and that I've talked about, if you haven't checked out some of my recent videos where I've talked about the Region A locked 4K discs from Shout Factory, you'll want to go check out some of my recent videos that I have posted here. Now, the 4K disc is 100% region free on this one, thankfully, because numerous of their other ones have been Region A locked. But your Blu-ray disc is Region A locked. Now, for the rough average bitrate on this, it had a very high and surprisingly strong rough average bitrate of 94 megabits per second. Wow. It was extremely high throughout the entire runtime. It didn't have any massive dips. It stayed pretty nicely healthy throughout the entire thing. I did appreciate that side of it. So as I said, there's some good things on this, the bitrate, and then there were some things that weren't so great on it. Now, getting to my review score. This gets a decent and enjoyable 8.0. It's not going to be a reference quality again for this release. And I know, maybe you were hoping it was going to be reference quality. It's simply not. It looks good. I enjoyed it. An 8 is still a decent, it's enjoyable. I enjoy the film. I'm glad to have it on 4K. I just wish it would have been a massive, huge improvement over the previous Blu-ray in every aspect, so I could have said, hey, this is one of those reference quality, buy it right away. It's just simply not. I would wait for a sale on this. I probably wouldn't be buying it at full price, to be honest with you. If I hadn't already ordered this to get this in for review, I wouldn't have bought it for myself until it was on sale, and that's just the honest fact about it. I mean, as I've explained recently, Shout and Scream Factory have stopped sending things for review since I started pointing out all of the facts about their releases and testing data. I can't get them to respond anymore, which is a real sad shame because they were sending things to me, as most of you know. For the last year and a half, I was getting things for review. And it wasn't until several months ago that I started doing testing and review on numerous of their releases that things weren't coming out okay, and I was sharing that with all of you. And then they stopped responding to me and won't send me any more things for review and won't reply to me. Whether by email or my phone calls to my contacts at the company, I get no responses whatsoever anymore. So I had to go out and buy this one at full price. I don't think it was worth it at full price, especially having to buy it at that and then having those issues. I wish I could have waited till a sale, because a lot of these releases, just like this release coming in at $30, no slipcover, it's to me not worth it. It would have been better at a sale price, maybe below 20 bucks, $14.99, but Shout Factory's releases very rarely go down to that price, especially on 4K. But gives you an idea where you're at on this one. This one gets a decent and enjoyable 8.0. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Share your comments in the comment section below. If you decide you're gonna buy this now, as always, make sure to use those links I posted down there below. It's very important to the creation of these videos that you use those links I've posted in the comment section down below. That way it supports the creation of me being able to go out and get things and test them, just like companies like this that don't send these for review now. I gotta go out there and I don't get a deal on it. I gotta buy it full price. I don't get to wait like all of you, because I try to do these testing and analysis for all of you. So make sure, if you enjoy all the time, the hard work, and my heart and soul I put into every single one of these videos, make sure to join my Collectors VIP Club. It's very important. Even the couple of dollars you spend on that every month makes a drastic difference in the creation of these videos. After what YouTube takes, which is between 30 to 35%, I get like $1 or $2 from that, but that helps me to be able to get in content like this, to get in all these releases, to test them, things that aren't sent for review. I've got to go out and pay full price instead of like all of you that get to wait for my review, to wait for something on sale. I have to go get it at full price, and that costs me a ton of money. The software, the computers, the high-end monitors, all this testing and analysis equipment is very expensive. For me to be able to continue doing this, I need all of you, my viewers and subscribers, support through my Collectors VIP Club. So if you want me to be able to continue creating videos just like this for many years to come, make sure to support this channel through the Collectors VIP Club. Only costs you a couple of bucks every month, so not much of anything, less than the price of a cup of coffee. But it really does make a difference in me being able to continue creating exclusive comparison videos just like this. Next up, we're gonna start off with the original Universal 2019 Waterworld 4K Ultra HD release. In those images above, as always, it's those native images pulled directly from these discs, but in this case, that is the native 4K image that I pulled directly from the 4K disc in this set. Now, I've owned this one, I enjoyed this release, I've always enjoyed Waterworld, and I really enjoyed the fact that Universal released this quite a while ago, back in 2019, and I've watched it a couple of times. Now, Waterworld's not a perfect film, but this 4K Ultra HD release was pretty darn nice looking. So I was curious how much better Arrow Video's release was going to be than this good looking 4K Ultra HD release. In comparison to the Arrow Video limited edition 4K Ultra HD release of Waterworld, as you're noticing up there above, it's a native 4K 2160p. On this, it does have Dolby Vision and HDR10. Whereas your previous release only had HDR10. Now, on the new Dolby Vision for this, that was the clear winner. It was roughly 10% better looking color-wise than the HDR10 on this was. Now, in those images above, you're probably noticing there are some differences. Now, the colors are not so different that it's one of those things you sit there and it's a drastic night and day difference, but it is noticeable enough that you can see the differences in the shades and the blues being more blue. Overall, I enjoyed the colors and the new color grading that they did for this Dolby Vision HDR10 on this limited edition set than I did on the previous release, that it was noticeable enough that you can see the differences between the two. And I will say there was slightly better film grain handling on this. There wasn't as many fluctuations as was on the previous 4K release. And I did notice the image overall had slightly more details in it. And I think that's drastically affected because on this release, they didn't shove on a bunch of things onto the 4K Ultra HD disc, as Universal did with the previous 4K release. Universal had to compress the image more on this 4K Ultra HD release than Arrow Video did on their 4K Ultra HD release, which is reflected directly in the bit rates. For Universal's 2019 4K Ultra HD release, the rough average bitrate on this was 43 megabits per second. For Arrow Video's limited edition 4K Ultra HD release of Waterworld, this had a very healthy and strong 73 megabits per second for its rough average bitrate. And I will tell you that lended to why the image was much more stable, had much more depth and detail in it, than Universal's previous 4K Ultra HD release. Along with the Dolby Vision and the Dolby Atmos that I hadn't even gotten to yet that is on this, the audio mix on this was a nice improvement over the DTS-X that we had on the previous 4K release. I did enjoy the DTS-X, but I will tell you, this had much better use of the height channels on this new Dolby Atmos mix. It moved things around quite a bit better than the DTS-X did. And I will tell you the LFE on this was much stronger than it was on the previous DTS-X mix. Overall, the Dolby Atmos was the clear winner in audio mixes on this new 4K Ultra HD release. The audio mix alone, let alone all those other things I enjoyed in the image, made this a worthwhile upgrade that I was happy that I upgraded over that previous 4K, especially for the fact of, as I've talked about before, I love Arrow Video's limited edition box sets. So even though the image and audio were a nice improvement, I love this box set as well. I missed out on their original Blu-ray release of this that had the box set with a similar swag in it. You get this nice overall box in it. It says Waterworld on the side, has all your special features listed on it, though I will say, I do wish they would have had the other cuts of the film other than the theatrical cut on the 4K Ultra HD separate 4K discs. But this is what we get is theatrical and theatrical. So we're talking about what the upgrades are, and in every shape and form, the image, the audio, it is nicer and much better sounding on this 4K Ultra HD release than it was on the previous Universal 4K Ultra HD. Showing what you get in this, you do get their really nice book here, which I really like this, talking about the film. These things are what I absolutely love, and it's really thick. I love this book. You also get the double-sided poster. Same ink they use for these. I love that smell from the manufacturer. A little weird quirk of mine, but most of you know I absolutely love that smell. And then you get reversible cover artwork on this. I put the other one on here. The front case is the same artwork as what's on the other side. Your 4K Ultra HD disc in here is 100% region free. And then you get your two Blu-ray discs, which have your TV cut and obviously your Ulysses cut. Though I will say I do think it was a missed opportunity by Arrow Video not to include the other cuts on 4K as well, because I do understand they could have done it on 4K, they just didn't. So a little disappointed in that, but again, we're comparing the theatrical cut anyways, because that's all we got on Universal's. And this one is quite a bit more superior. Now, as I was talking about with the image on this, because of the higher bit rate, obviously the new audio mix with the Dolby Atmos and the Dolby Vision being the clear winner, my review score for Waterworld limited edition 4K Ultra HD set from Arrow Video gets an outstanding 9.5. It was a worthwhile upgrade to me. Those things that they did to make this even appear better than it did on the previous 4K, the fact that they didn't overcompress the image, didn't have to take it down and compress it more to fit it on with other things on that 4K disc, make a drastic improvement in this that noticeably enough, you'll notice it in the film grain and everything else throughout this, just looks more stable, and it is the most beautiful way to watch Waterworld that's ever been released on home video, and is a nice improvement over the previous 4K release. So I'm happy to say for Waterworld, the limited edition set, this is a must buy at 9.5. Let me know if you're gonna buy an upgrade to this now that you've been able to see my exclusive image comparisons that show you the actual native differences between this and the previous 4K Ultra HD release from Universal. Are you excited now to know that this is an upgrade in both audio and visual quality? Let me know down below. Are you excited for this one? Are you gonna buy an upgrade to it now? If you decide you're gonna buy this, use those links I've posted down in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section below. Next up, we have one of my favorite films from 1998, The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. This film actually I remember was one of the first DVDs that was ever released. And I remember actually going to Best Buy to buy this on DVD. And I remember for that DVD, I spent $70. That's how expensive the first DVD was. I remember they only had 3 of them sitting on the shelf of 3 different titles. That was it. And I remember the DVD players were hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I remember I was saving up for a long time to buy my first DVD player and The Truman Show on DVD. I've had this on every iteration of home video that it's been released on. It has had a storied history on home video. The previous Blu-ray release, as you're seeing above, was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I hated the Blu-ray release. It was hard to watch. It had so much DNR and just garish looking colors. Everyone was dead to lifeless throughout the film. I really couldn't stand that previous Blu-ray release, and I can't say that enough. So I was thrilled for the 25th anniversary when Paramount announced they were doing a brand new 4K restoration on 4K Ultra HD. This 4K Ultra HD release, I'm happy to announce, is a native 4K 2160p. As you're noticing in those native images up above, it has the natural film grain in it. Though I will tell you right away, there have been numerous things about this release that have been misreported. For example, there are scenes in this where the film grain gets so extremely light to some that they think that it's missing. It is not. They used numerous camera lenses and filters throughout this film intentionally, using fisheye lenses to give the effect of basically that they're using a camera to watch him as he's walking around town, or different lenses when he's like sleeping in bed, or they would use different things like monitors to kind of give the effect of that you're watching on a monitor, which caused lines, which is not something wrong with this. It's just the actual image had lines through it intentionally to give the digital look. That's not something wrong. That's baked into the original film elements. Just like numerous scenes with those lenses and filters that they used did give it a softer appearance in some scenes, that on this there is no DNR present on it. That was misreported. It's not DNR, it's that in the original film elements, there's actually scenes that because of the camera lenses they used intentionally, those scenes do get softer intentionally. That will never go away no matter how many times they scan the original film elements, which I can tell you, this was created from a brand new 4K scan of the original 35mm camera negatives. So they're going back to those original film elements. It's just that they can't change how this was filmed originally by the original cinematographer and director, how they intentionally did it. That's never going to change. I can tell you with this Dolby Vision and HDR10 though, man, do the colors and lifelike skin tones come through wonderfully on this, blowing away that garish, just ugly Blu-ray release that I absolutely hated before. I really was amazed at how much I enjoyed watching this. Felt like going back to the first time in theaters when I originally saw this, to see it on this 4K Ultra HD release. Now, I'm not going to say everything's perfect on this though, and I'll touch on a couple of those things here real quick. There was some digital noise present in this though. Some of the scenes where the film grain, closer towards the beginning of the film and towards the end, was when I noticed them most. You'll notice some digital noise pop up that's mixing with the film grain. Film grain looks stable, and then you see some digital noise kind of creating like a pattern around some of the film grain. It's brief, it's not through the entire film. Like I said, it's a few scenes at the beginning and a few scenes at the end, but that was about it, and they're very, very brief. But as always, I'm going to point that out for you so you know what to expect when you're watching this, and that always goes into the review score as well. Now, some other things I did encounter when I went through my exclusive testing. Diving into the rough average bitrate, this had a high 80 megabits per second, but that's not without a caveat. There was some big dips in that bitrate, so it would go way down, and it was slightly noticeable in the few times it did that. But thankfully, it was only a few times throughout the entire runtime, so it did not ruin the experience, but it was something I did notice when watching it, and as always, I share all of that with all of you. Now, touching on a nice treat that we did get in this release that I wasn't expecting is the Dolby Atmos in English. It was very enjoyable. I thought it moved things around pretty darn cool. There were some scenes that surprised me how they used that Dolby Atmos height channels to add an effect that I didn't see coming. Now, is it a reference quality Dolby Atmos? No. But I will tell you, I think they used it really well for this type of a drama, dramedy, comedy, and I was surprised at how enjoyable it was. I think it was very clear. The audio mix was very clean. I didn't have any issues not being able to hear it. I didn't have to turn it way up either. It wasn't a low sounding Dolby Atmos. I think it was very well and pleasingly done on this, and it was a big upgrade over the previous, as I said, horrible Blu-ray release. It was a big upgrade that, to be honest with you, I didn't expect to get, but I'm very happy that Paramount went the extra mile to put the Dolby Atmos on this, because I think it's really cool they did it, and the effects that are in it and how they move things around really were a fun time. Now, getting to my review score. For the Truman Show, for its 25th anniversary 4K Ultra HD release, this gets an excellent 9.4. It is a must-buy that you're going to want to buy and add to your collection. I think Paramount surprised me with this one because they added that Dolby Atmos as an extra treat. As I said, the Dolby Vision on this and the HDR10 were very good looking. Other than those few nitpicky things and those slight things I did notice that I shared with all of you, That's why this comes in at a 9.4. It's still an excellent release that I recommend buying and adding to your collection. This is the best way that the Truman Show has ever looked on home video, blowing away the 2008 Blu-ray release. Can't really tell you how much of a massive upgrade this is over that previous horrible 2008 Blu-ray release. You know, if you haven't checked it out, I recently did Vanilla Sky and The Firm, two other 4K Ultra HD releases that Paramount Studio just recently released a week ago. I did my exclusive 4K versus Blu-ray image comparisons of those. You'll want to go check out those because if you enjoy these releases that Paramount's doing, those are two other 4K releases that Paramount just recently released. There are some nitpicky things that I wish they'd smooth out to make these reference quality releases, but they are doing a better job figuring out how to do a better job on each one of these. And I do see an appreciable difference and upgrade in what they're doing on these 4Ks so that they are enjoyable upgrades to add to our collections, especially for the fact of how much this blows away that horrible previous Blu-ray. Wow. Just absolutely loved this Truman Show. 9.4 is a must buy. Make sure if you're going to buy this and add this to your collection, as I said, use those links I've posted down in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section below. Let me know in the comments below as well. Are you excited about this one? Are you going to buy this one and add this one to your collection now that you've seen my exclusive 4K versus Blu-ray image comparisons? Next up, we've got the 1984 action adventure, just one of those films I've always really enjoyed from the 80s, The Bounty. It has Mel Gibson, Anthony Hopkins in it, and a dozen other well-known actors that really does lend to this ensemble piece that is such an enjoyable film. And a lot of people nowadays probably haven't even seen this film, but it is a highly recommended action adventure if you like on the seas, action adventures, exploring. This film has a lot going for it, though I will warn you for the rating that is on this, it does have some strong violence and nudity in it. It doesn't go with the rating, obviously, from the 80s. It doesn't fit the PG rating, but I thought I'd let you know that in advance if you do dive into this. But basically, the story is about Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins. They're friends that go on this epic voyage exploration, and it ends up they have differing opinions. I don't want to give away too much, but I'll say that they have drastically different opinions about what should be done and what shouldn't be done with what they discover. And they end up becoming dire enemies. And it's a story of what happens between them. And it really is one of those that it's epic, the scope of it. I love the ships in this, man, with the huge sails, like the big Pirates of the Caribbean ships and everything. I absolutely love the epic scope of this film. And in the 80s, it was such a cool film to see back then because, again, this is before all the CGI. So they really built those ships and the sets and the costumes. And it's really darn cool. And this film I've always really enjoyed. Well, Imprint sent this to me early for review. It's coming out here in about a week or two. So I did get this in early for review. I love these Imprint releases, how they come. It's in this big box. I'm going to show it to you. It comes in these big collector's boxes. This is number 225 from the Imprint collection. It says The Bounty on it. On the back here, it does have this removable card, and it's just basically talking about the film and the special features. I'll touch on this in a minute. But it has artwork on the back here if you want to take that off. It says they began their epic voyage as friends. It ended in hatred and bloodshed. And that's kind of what I explained about the story, but a little bit more dramatized in the saying there. But on this is the brand new 1080p high definition presentation, but it's from a 4K scan of the original camera negative. So no, it's not a 4K Ultra HD release, but it's a 4K scan that they did for this Blu-ray release. And this is, to give you an example, one of the highest quality versions of Blu-ray you can get with a 4K scan of The Bounty. And I did notice that it looked pretty darn nice. Though I will say, The Bounty itself as a film could have used with a brand new 4K restoration completely. There's numerous speckles, tears, smudges, different color fluctuations that have existed on this film. The new 4K scan does look better than it ever has on home video, but that's with a caveat here, because it needs a 4K restoration to get rid of all of those other things that are on it. But this is the best version that exists of this film. Thankfully, this does look good with that new 4K scan. So it does have nice details in that image. Now, showing you something I love about these Imprint collection releases. You see how they come off and there's like this V shape here? I love that they do that extra little touch on all these releases, that this top comes off, really thick cardboard, which adds to like collectability for me. These are things that as collectors, I absolutely love because it's just like those Arrow Video box sets. I love when things like this are done. Then when you get inside here, you take this out, you get two different cases in here. This one is obviously your other artwork for the movie. And then on the back here, it talks about the movie. And then your second disc is your special features with different artwork on it. And I really like how Imprint uses different artwork on each and every one of these cases. So it's not that you just throw in the same artwork and just write special features. It's completely different artwork. They use these clear, like basically limited edition cases. I really like that look too. On the side here, it does talk about this is your special features disc. Different artwork on the back of this as well. Now, this has a ton of special features in the set. So there is a lot of special features in here, and I'll show you inside here. This is your special features disc in here. And I do like that it has artwork on the inside of the disc case as well. Now, showing it to the inside here, it does have artwork inside here as well. This is your movie. I'm happy to report I tested these discs and they are all 100% region free. You don't have to worry about any issues playing these on any players anywhere worldwide. So that's good news. Now here's one of the big treats in this set. This is a shiny, glossy book in here. It goes into all sorts of things about the film. Artwork, behind the scenes, talking about making it, the writing of it, the musical score of it, creating the ship, behind the scenes of the actors in it, the actresses in it. There is really a massive amount of content in this book, and it's an enjoyable read and lends to the collectability of these just like what Arrow Video does. But this one's glossy, which I did really like that it's glossy. Arrow Video, if you're listening, why don't you start making your books glossy like this? Because I really like these glossy outside covers. It'd be really cool to get them glossy from now on. But Imprint does them in glossy, and I really enjoyed this book, and this adds to why I enjoyed this set. Now, coming from me as a collector, I absolutely love this Bounty box set. This is one of those Imprint releases I was really excited that they sent to me early for review. I do recommend this set. This is one of those I'm glad to have in my collection. Do I think they're going to ever go do a 4K release of the Bounty? Not necessarily, and here's why. It is one of those films that is not as massive of a release as a million other releases that are out there, that I see them going back and doing 4K releases before they ever do one for this. So for the Bounty, I do think this is going to be the best quality we get on Blu-ray. And I did really enjoy this. I thought it looked good. Other than, like I said, it could have used a brand new $1 million 4K restoration, but I don't see this film ever getting that. This is the best way I think we're ever going to get it. Honestly, this box set, though, is the best box set of the Bounty that I own. I love the book in it. I love all the different artworks, the cases, all of the special features. And I really like the collectability of these. That's why I think Imprint has a really cool line of collectible releases. And I was really excited about this one. This one comes highly recommended for me to buy and add to your collection. If you like films from the 80s, these big action adventure spectacles, this is one you're going to want to have in your collection. I'll put that direct link from Amazon in the description section and as a pinned comment. No matter where you are worldwide, it's region free, so you can watch and enjoy this anywhere. And these are limited editions, so I'll warn you, these do sell out. So if you want to buy this, don't wait too long, because once these sell out, they become big collectibles. They're very expensive at that point in the aftermarket, and Imprint does not print them again. Once they sell out of their limited edition sets, they're gone. So make sure if you're wanting to pick this up and buy this, use that link I've posted down there below. Wow, I had a lot to cover and dive into with all of you today. I know a lot of you had requested I do Avatar, even though a long time ago I'd stopped my work on it because so many other things had come in that I was working on. I decided to do it for all of you as a big surprise because there have been so many of you asking me to finish my testing on it and release it, just like what you asked about the Truman Show. I did that for all of you now. Upgrade, I've done that for all of you. And I did my exclusive 4K versus 4K for Waterworld. This video took me over a week and a half to compile, test, analyze, review. It has taken me a massive amount of time and work to create this exclusive video. Please make sure if you enjoyed this and this video helped you out, join my Collectors VIP Club. That is the best way for me to be able to continue creating videos just like this. You have no idea how important every single membership in the Collectors VIP Club truly is to this YouTube channel. All of this content is extremely time consuming and expensive for me to create. That is why nobody else does what I do here exclusively on my YouTube channel. It is too darn expensive for people to buy multiple monitors, computers, testing and analyzing, drives, software. If you enjoy this, and if these videos have helped you out, and you watch these videos continually, join the Collectors VIP Club. To all my current VIP Club members, I truly want to say thank you as always. You truly are the only reason I can continue to do this just like I do now. But I truly need all of your support. So if you haven't joined yet, make sure to join. Let me know in the comment section below what of these films, all of these films I covered in this review, what of these you're excited for, what of these you're gonna buy and add to your collection. Start that conversation in the comment section below, and if you buy any of these, make sure to use those links down there below. As always, I truly hope all of you have a blessed day, and I've always got something new, early, exclusive, and exciting coming out very soon.